In this tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make that beautiful underbust corset with a cage hat. And this is the materials we'll be needing. You need your bias, your boning material. Okay, so these are the things we'll be needing. So I'm using this boning, the tiniest one. Yeah, so we go into the drafting. So guys, the pattern we are using now is a full scale bodice. I've made a tutorial on how to draft a full scale bodice. If you've not watched it, you should go and watch it. You can see this is the pattern we used on our previous video on how to draft an off shoulder top with cape. You can see our style lines are still here. So this is the reason I don't like cutting out my pattern, because I'm still going to use it for our different tutorials that will be coming up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just to clean up all these style lines so that we can use this pattern to derive our underbust corset with the cage hat. Okay, so you see the reason why I love tracing. So you'll be needing your tracing wheel. This is a very important tool for any designer. Okay, your pencil, eraser, you need your tape, curve ruler, pattern master. So guys, if you've not watched my tutorial on how to draft a full scale bodice, you should watch it so that you understand how we get here. And I've also done underbust tightening. Okay, so if you watch my video on how to make an off shoulder top, I also explain how we arrive at this. If you've also watched my video on how to make a corset, you will understand. If you've been following my post, you won't be stranded. Okay, yeah, so let's get started. So guys, for this underbust corset, it's just like drafting a corset, but the difference between a corset and this underbust corset we want to make is that we are not going to add a cup. Okay, we are just going to trace other parts but except the cup. That's the difference between this underbust corset we are making and the wheel corset. So the process we are going to use to achieve this is also the same with the process of getting a corset. So we are just going to come up by 1 inch from the bust point. Okay, and from that point you are coming out by ½ inch, and you are going to square it up. If you've watched my video on how to make a corset, this won't look strange to you. Okay, yeah, so after that you are just going to connect this point to this point like I'm doing. So watch exactly what I'm doing so that you won't get lost. Yeah, and this is my bust circle. Like I told you, if you've been watching my video, you understand all these things. So from my bust circle, I'm just going to come down by 1 inch so that I'm just going to connect. So I'm just going to connect my corset cup, even though we are not tracing it, but I'm just going to do that and I will show you guys what to trace. Okay, so after that I'm just going to, from this point, you know this is our seam allowance, so from this point, this is the real bodice, I'm going to come in by ½ inch. Yeah, this is it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close in this side pulse that so that I can draw the other side of the cup. So I'm going to close it and I'm going to tape it down so that it can stay. So once I close it, I'm going to connect this cup from this point to that 1.5 I came in from the side. Then and I'll connect it like this. I hope you're understanding what I'm doing. If you don't understand, just ask you, drop your questions on the comment section, okay? So once I connect this side, I'm just going to connect this other like this, even though we don't need the cup, but I'm just going to do that, okay? Yeah. So we are done with this upper part. So the next is to get the style line around here, okay? All you have to do is just to come to this point, just do exactly what I'm doing, you get it. You are just going to come down from the waistline, come down by 2.75, and at this side you are also going to come down by 2 inches, okay? And from the hip line, I hope you can see what I'm doing. So from the hip line you are going to come up by 2 inches, okay? So that is where it's going to stop, and you are just going to place your curve ruler and connect it. So you place your curve ruler at this point and also at this point, okay? And you are just going to connect it like I'm doing. You are going to flip your curve ruler again and connect it from this point. So from the waistline to this point, okay? Yeah, and we are done with the front. I hope you guys understand this. Then for the back, so for the back, what I'm going to do, because we are going to fix an eyelet at the back of this underbust corset, so I'm just going to come to the chest line. First of all, I'm going to reduce it by 1.5. So I'm simply coming in by 1.5. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Then at the waistline, I will come in by 1 inch. Then at the hip line, I'm going to come in by 1.5. Then I will connect a straight line like this. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to do the same thing I did here. Okay, so I'll just measure exactly what I measured at the front. So at the hip line, I will come up by 2 inches. Then at the dark side line, I'm just going to come down by 2.75. At this side, I'm coming down by 2 inches, just like I achieved the front side. And I'm going to draw my style line like so. So do the same thing for your own. Do exactly what I'm doing, you will get it right. You are going to thank me after this. Yeah. So, and we are done drawing our style lines. I hope you understand. So we now have 2 pieces for the front and 2 pieces for the back. Let me show you guys how you are going to trace this. So guys, for you to trace it, we have number 1 and we have number 2 for the front. So we have 2 pieces that we are going to trace out for the front. So watch carefully how you are going to trace this. You are going to put a fresh paper under. Like I told you guys, I don't like cutting my pattern because I will always refer to it when we have any new design that we want to interpret. Okay, so put a fresh paper under, and this is where you are going to trace. You are going to trace from here, you stop here and continue from here, you continue from here, you continue from here, and you stop here. Okay, so you are adding ½ inch seam allowance at the center front, because the center front will not be on fold, it will be 2 pieces, because I'm going to be adding a boning at the center. So you are going to add 0.5 inch seam allowance at the center front and 0.5 inch seam allowance at all round when you trace it. I hope you understand. Then for the second one, watch carefully. You are going to trace from here, down here, down, you stop at our style line, and you continue from here, here, here. and you add 0.5 inch seam allowance all round. Then when you come to the side seam, you are going to add 1 inch seam allowance. Always note that at the side seam you always add 1 inch seam allowance. I hope you get this very clear. Okay, so then for the back, we also have 2 pieces that you are going to be tracing for the back. We have 1 and we have 2. So you are going to trace from the chest line like this, and you stop here, you follow this line, and you add 0.5 inches seam allowance. So when you come to the side seam, you add 1 inch. So you also trace the center back like this from this point, and you follow our style line, and you add 0.5 inches seam allowance all round. Okay, if you don't understand any explanation I make here, always ask your question. I will respond to that. Okay guys, let me trace it and show you guys what I traced. So guys, after tracing it out, this is what I have. This is the center front. Like I told you, if you trace it, you add 0.5 inches seam allowance all round, and this is the side front. You add 0.5 inch seam allowance, and when you come to the side, you add 1 inch. Okay, so this is all the back. This is the side back. I've traced it and I've added 0.5 inches seam allowance, and when I get to the side, I added 1 inch. And look at the center back too. Okay, so once you trace your own, always indicate which place is the up and which place is the down, which place is the side facing the zip, and which place is the that side where you are going to join with the side back. So you always open your eyes very well when doing this. Guys, I came here to open your eyes to fashion. All right. So guys, for the cage art, this is what we have here. Don't worry, I will explain. So I've already drawn the shape of this cage art. So what I'm going to do now is to explain to you how I was able to do this, so that you can do the same thing for yours. So first of all, I draw a rectangle. So this rectangle, the width of this rectangle is 26 inches. Okay, the width of this rectangle is 26 inches. Then the length is 7 inches. So once you measure it, you are going to draw the rectangle like I did. Okay, you measure 26 inches width, and this place is 7 inches length. Okay, and the width is 26 inches. Okay, so after that, the next thing I do was to get the center, the middle of this 26 inches, which is 13. So, and I draw this line. Okay, I just draw a line to divide it. So the essence of drawing this line is just to make sure that I have the same shape on both sides. Okay, so from this center line, all I did was to come out by 2 inches on both sides of this center line. Okay, so that is where I'm going to start to draw the shape of my cage art. So I came out 2 inches from both sides of this center line, and after that, what I did was to get my curve ruler and connect from this 2 inches to this end point. Okay, and I connect it like this. Okay, and I do the same thing for the other part. So from that 2 inches, I just connect it. So you can see it's the same thing I did that I'm teaching you guys, so that you will understand it. So I connect my shape like that, and you can see these lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. This is where I'm going to be inserting my boning in order to give it that structure that made it stand. Okay, so these lines are just 4 inches apart. So from this center line, I marked 4 inches, and I connect it like so. Okay, so I marked 4 inches apart. Okay, you can see it's 4 inches apart, and I draw it with a Fenty line. So as I'm illustrating, I'm now drawing it with a visible line. Yeah, so these lines are actually where I'm going to put my bunny, 4 inches apart, and it's 5 lines. So this is how my cage art is going to be. I'm going to cut it out like this. I'm not going to add seam allowance because I won't be cutting any lining for this. Okay, I'm just going to create my bunny casing and insert my bunny. So this is the pattern I'm going to use to cut out this cage art. All I'm going to do is just to cut out this pattern. Okay, and I will show you guys the sewing process. So guys, I have cut this out, and this is how our beautiful pattern looks. Wow, this is so beautiful. This is the center front, side front, this is the side back, center back. So can you see how beautiful this is looking? And I've also cut out the beautiful cage art. So this is how it's going to look like. This is so beautiful, guys. Are you feeling this? Like, are you feeling this beautiful cage art? So we've come to the end of this drafting process. So you will check the next tutorial for the sewing proper. Guys, if you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Can't you see that this channel is really impacting a lot? Like I opened this channel to impact, like to teach. So just like my video, share this video, and that is the encouragement I get for putting up all these lovely videos. And if you don't understand anything I explain here, kindly drop your question on the comment section. I will attend to that. Okay guys, see you in the sewing proper. All right, bye.